and fix, I'm sure, before we get to that next deal. But I guess everyone watching at home, whether it's parents, grandparents, or whoever it might be, can still see the cattle out there. And I think just the quality and that's the main part, I guess, of just the quality of the show, I guess, is something that's really stood out. But once they get it lined up, then you'll be able to catch your words. As soon as we can get it in here, the results from that class, Mason, can go ahead and read them off to you, but we're working on getting that now.
Yeah, so results of that last class, and first was Ariel Rocha, and second was Brooke Brinkley, and third, Raymond Breedlove, and fourth was Hayden Weems, and fifth was Daniel Cavazos, and sixth was Sophia Chavez, and in seventh was Anna Young, and rounding us out was Bryce Cooper.
Yeah, well, congratulations to those exhibitors. Once again, we apologize for the audio mishap there, but I'm sure they'll get that lined out here sooner rather than later. But, another diverse class as we head in here to the next one coming into the ring. It looks like maybe a little bit of Shorthorn influence here.
Forgot about that. My breed listing, yeah. Some Shorthorn Plus is also eligible to show here on the Continental side of things.
Yep, so looks like we have a couple of those here being represented, and once again, a lot of diversity, but it's still a really nice set of heifers that just come
in. Yep, for sure. You want to talk about a mixed bag of chips? I mean, we got all sorts of differences in frame size and just bulk and muscularity. Not calling anything light muscled, but we got some very, very, very stout individuals kind of scattered throughout this class, and just like we talked about, ones that work in different scenarios, and just whatever these kids want to take them back home and wherever their breeding program kind of lies. And I think that's good. Because if everybody had cattle that looked the same, going to cattle shows wouldn't be very fun.
No doubt. That's couldn't be said any better about that, because without diversity, and I know it's one thing, but these just maybe not breeds that are in here, but there's a ton of breeds that have showed throughout today that complement each other in ways extremely well. I mean, think about you have Hereford and Angus cattle. Some of the best replacements that you could find in certain areas of the country, and just a lot of differences. So, and that being said, there's a lot that could be done with these as well, as we have mentioned multiple times now. But definitely just uniqueness throughout this set in particular. I think more so than we've seen thus far in the ORB show. A lot of differences.
Yeah, one of my favorite, kind of breeds that have popped up and become a little more relevant. Not that they weren't already, being bred and raised throughout the country, but now this new Maine Angus breed that they've came out with in the past couple of years and having their own separate shows. I mean, talk about two very complementary breeds and put together, and some of the most competitive show heifers throughout the country have come out of that breed, and combining those traits from both of those breeds has just been something to behold. And I hope and continue that breed continues to grow and flourish, because those things are as good as you can possibly make one in my eyes, and the kind of stock that I'm after and I like. And I just think that's such a neat deal. And these percentage cattle and what they've been able to do in terms of just bettering other breeds as well. You touched on it earlier, but our Simmental breeds and our main breeds and stuff like that. When you can go out and find a breed that complements you and fixes, some issues or betters, what strengths you have, and then you can go back and breed back to the original breed and get back to a purebred. I think that has helped those breeds tremendously, just in terms of quality and being able to kind of outcross and get some heterosis on that side of things as well.
Yeah, I guess we spoke too soon earlier. Young lady had her heifer get away, but let her walk right back up and grab her. So
yeah,
worked out great right there.
That knocking on wood, it didn't do much. I kind of figured that was going to happen.
No, I don't think either one of us knocked on wood, so we'd forgotten that part of it. But, I know Mason had mentioned about the main Angus breed. I think, me and him are both prime examples of guys that will probably always, just be Hereford, pure Hereford cattle through and through, just kind of what we grew up with. But I know Mason back home, whenever we were younger back in Schulenburg, they used to raise some show steers and stuff like that as well for many years down there. So, maybe a lot of that influence of the type of cattle from that side of the industry is maybe some types that you see in this particular class. Like he had said, a lot of stoutness, a lot of power scattered throughout some of these cattle. But I just thought that was neat to bring that up with Mason. I know, although we both have a large background in Hereford cattle and, love for that, he also was involved in the show steer deal as well for a while.
Yeah, for sure. And I'm about to get back into it. I bought me a maintainer female here last year. It's had some success throughout the year for my little brother, and the plans now is to go in, kind of raise some of them big, giant-legged, big pin kind of show steers with that wild look and sell them high. So here we go.
Another good class here. Young man in the cowboy hat's going to lead off with my class winner. It's a good, complete kind of a heifer, one that's fairly fault-free in her own right. She gets out and moves with flexibility off both ends. I like the rig that she comes to us in terms of her condition today. She's one that's got some body depth and some look. She's not as stout and powerful as a couple of these, but that's okay. I think she's got more than enough for me. So when you couple that with her other added benefits out here in the lineup, she just surfaces to the top. A heifer that's going to be in second, there's a lot of things I like about this heifer. Standing still, she's a big hip, big topped kind of a female, one that's good in terms of her body depth. You set her in motion and she gets just a little bit more awkward in terms of her movement. She pops up in her spine. She gets more insecure out of her hip and her hind leg. She's a little more upright there in her shoulder. And when you park her and I get in front of her, you kind of see why. She's a bit more open there in her shoulder. She's a little deeper in her chest. The white heifer that's going to come third here is one that, again, you like the stoutness of feature. You like the foot and bone work that she's built on. To me, she's another one that's just a little coarser in the way that she blends everything together. Like to see her blend just a little smoother there through her forerib and her heart, but I still think that her basic pieces offer her the next most good, and so that's what keeps her in that third place hole. Heifer that's coming next, this roan heifer, is one that pulls together a nice top line. She can give you a nice look in terms of her silhouette. Her body depth is correct. She wants to narrow up just a little bit more off either end of her skeleton, and especially compared to some of those that placed ahead of her, she's maybe needs rocked back just a bit more in terms of the angle to her shoulder.
Heads up, loose heifer in the arena. Good catch.
Heifer, the little kind of the yellow heifer that we got next here is one that, again, she's got some softness in the center portion of her body, which offers you a nice look from that standpoint. She's just plainer all the way through. She gets plainer in terms of her look up front. She's a little plainer in the way that she looks when you watch her get out and go as well. The big red heifer that we have coming next is one that's long and extended up front. I like her added length and presence there from that standpoint. She's a little little flatter in terms of her build. She's a little narrower on her construction. She's another one I'd just like to change just a little bit in terms of her angles, let her move out with a bit more reach up front. The heifer that's going to round out the class is one that has some depth of body. There's some shape in this heifer. I just think for me she's a little more ill-built as I analyze her through her shoulder and the way that blends back. She just needs to change just a little bit from the way that she's put together for me to want to work up any higher in this particular lineup. The young man does a nice job. If you would, congratulate these exhibitors on a nice class.
We greatly appreciate that overview on your placings here in Class 8, and taking the blue ribbon was entry 14-341. That's
Mason's gonna, get his set back on and get the results here from this past class.
So first in that class would have been Brecken Rasco. And second was Brazos Kirkwood. Third was Adam Roscoe. Fourth, Kenzie Bonnell. And fifth would have been Amber Seidel. And sixth was Emma Francis. Seventh, Ava Garza. And in eighth was Kian McGallion. So great class. Once again, Blaine's talked about it. Congratulations to all those exhibitors. And, as we work into our older females, we're starting to see some differences like I talked about. They're just in terms of where they're at from a flesh standpoint and things of that nature.
Yeah, no doubt. Getting into some larger heifers, it takes a lot more time to get these to the stage that they're at than maybe some of the heifers in the younger division or the younger classes in the younger division. Just a lot, more time and hours spent with these particular females probably. Next year there's probably a lot of the heifers that we've seen in the first division. I'd imagine if it works out for those young exhibitors, will probably come back, and more of these, will probably be, as we get into the bigger heifers, push more to the production side of things. But definitely, getting some more size, and as we get into these older cattle here, and Miss Bloomberg is working through them very efficiently. In the north ring here, they've finished up. I guess it's been about an hour ago or so, maybe a little more than that. So Miss Bloomberg, I guess, had an extra breed, I think is what it was at the end of the deal, an uneven number, and she was fortunate enough to have that thrown on her side. So we're waiting on the ORBs to finish up, and then her and Miss Barber will come together and select a supreme overall of this wave of the show. So.
Yep, we got a new color here. I don't know if we've seen one yet, but we got a solid white heifer that's blue-nosed and blue-eyed and blue-eared. Got a little pigment there, around her tail. So another fun kind of color of the rainbow.
Yep, there you go. We're getting. I think we're gonna fill out probably all of them by the time we get to the end of it.
For sure. Just trying to think. We even had a kind of a Brindle Bromby in that last couple classes ago. So trying to think of some other colors that we're going to see, but we might have checked all the boxes.
Yeah, she's moving through them very efficiently here in these classes. So she got these placed, and I guess we're going to have Mr. Doug Pierce over here giving me a hard time. True legend, I guess, whenever you start talking
nice
about some of these.
One that sure gets your attention from the gate in terms of her presence. Her build is right. She's a good made kind of a female that I love the extras that she brings out here as well. Just a really high quality kind of a heifer to win rather handily, in my opinion. If you were going to have a call in this class, I think it would be between second and third, but the longer they're out here, if you really break them down, I don't think it becomes as close as maybe what I initially thought. The black heifer that's going to end up in second, I think, is just truer in terms of her kind. She takes a longer step off both ends. She collects herself a little bit nicer in terms of her balance from a profile. She stays stronger in her top line, and I think she's genuinely better in terms of her width. The white heifer that we got coming next is one that's got a big foot underneath her. I like that about this female. She's one that's proportional in terms of her design. She's a little more jammed up front. I'd like to lengthen out her neck just a little bit. I'd like to correct her in the way she is there over her loin, and as she comes back in, set her tail head down in her just a notch to blend her up a little nicer from a balance standpoint, but still a good-bodied kind of a heifer there to go third. Heifer's going to end up fourth out here, runs into a competitive class. It's a heifer that's proportional. She's level in terms of her design. In this particular lineup, she just gets too narrow off either end, wants to flatten just a little bit more in terms of her shape.
We'll get the results here from that class as Mason gets that, but we just had some wise words with Mr. Doug Pierce, a true legend just in the industry within that, and spends a lot of time here at San Antonio, but I'll let Mason catch up here on the results from the previous class.
Yeah, so first in that class was Ainsley Williams, second, Caroline Smith, third, Martha Villaseca, and fourth was Jason Cervantes. So another good class. So what do we got? We have one more till division, or are we about to go into our division?
I think we have one more, if I'm not mistaken. Like we said, Miss Bloomberg moving through them extremely efficiently. But from what it seems like up here, just sticking with her kind is what it's been so far. A lot of consistency that can be followed with the way that she's judging them. And I'm sure that's appreciated by the exhibitors. Always like whenever, they have a judge that they can show to and expect consistency. So I'd say on that front, things have been going extremely well here. Like I just said to Mason and to the crowd a second ago, we had Mr. Doug Pierce over here. He informed us that the best animal on the earth in terms of structure is a polar bear. So something we've learned that's new. But those of you that know him, just a long-time announcer here for the junior show and appreciative of all he does for San Antonio Stock Show and the youth.
For sure, and a true industry icon. He's judged about every big American show from here to Florida, and done a lot of British and continental shows across the country. At the majors, but a guy that loves the youth, has given pretty much a dedication his whole life to the youth within ag, and someone who we have a lot of respect for. He said, go ahead, go watch you a video of a polar bear walking on ice, and that's the kind of cattle that I want. Which, if you think about it, that ain't a bad kind. You want to talk about big, soft wheels, still a nice look and have some true width and shape. That ain't bad.
Not at all.
Now it might kind of be like a Fort Worth steer. You get that polar bear sheared off, and you might be wondering what you got underneath there. But my goodness, when you kind of get off them and they're haired up, and it's January, it's game on.
Yeah, their back feet might track further forward than the hole that their front feet comes out of. You never know, but the right kind of flexibility there. And Mr. Pierce is known. I had the privilege at Blaine College to spend a ton of time with him over my 2 years there. Learned a lot in terms of life, but also cattle and also judging and things that are all, I think, important to me. But for him, he's a man that likes good cattle that are built right from the ground up, and that's definitely known. Even a guy that's also raised a ton of American show steers here within the state, and we had the privilege of going to look at some of those cattle through my time at Blinn, and helping them sort through them here and there, and the trend is they're all good built. So I guess he does follow that polar bear trend in terms of flexibility of build within his cattle.
For sure, and if you're going to have a career that lasts like he has, and cattle that have won like he does, you got to build them right. Function is so huge in these cattle, and something that I like to think, I like to appreciate. I know Blaine would say the same thing, and we've seen a lot of cattle that are built right today. And another thing that we touched on that's interesting, and if you've been listening to the couple breeds that I've talked to, or walked throughout the day, I've touched on it. But it's something so unique here, at Houston and Austin and San Antonio, is we get into this junior division, and it stretches all the way from December to May. And you start off in some females that kind of resemble more heifer calves, and then you get all the way into these mays, and likewise to those other breeds. We got cattle that are starting to, drop a bag and get a lot further along in gestation, and just kind of changing in terms of just how their balance puts together, and how they handle themselves in motion. Not that it's good, bad, or indifferent, but it's just something to think about, and something Ravenna has to think about, and something that plays into this whole thing that we call livestock judging.
Yeah, no doubt. And man, I love nothing more than, like Mason had said, you see a heifer at this stage, they begin forming a bag and getting more to the production stage in their life. And, from someone that grew up predominantly on a cow-calf operation, definitely love to see that side of things as well. Whenever you get into some of these classes, although it's a fun game that we play in terms of just showing livestock, it's still important to keep some of the real-world production side of things at least in check. I know some of it maybe some people have different opinions on, but, for the most part, I'd say, it's unique whenever these heifers can, at least they go home and have a calf and are able to produce, in something that I think is truly important within the breeding cattle side of things.
100%.
I think a little bit of a larger class here as Miss Bloomberg works through them. Maybe like we'd said, some differences in some Shorthorn Plus type cattle, and maybe, a few main and key type, or main influence, I guess. Mainly the key show happened before this, but
some low keys in here.
I think they said
Low
the
keys.
6%, I think, was what they said on the key side of things. To be able to show in the key division, have to have 6% of that, genetically in them. So. Yep.
There's a bull that goes by the name of In God We Trust. And that bull's got some key percentage in him. And with that, we've seen a lot of cream-colored cattle throughout both the key show and the ORB show. And whether they're in gods or some sort of horn livestock derivative, there's some other sons that have made it to the Midwest and different things like that, trace back to BDR and some different bulls like that. But you can definitely see his influence and a lot of horn livestock influence, and just some cream-colored bulls that are coming through. But bulls that are predominantly used in club calf production, and now you got some daughters and granddaughters and what have you in this breed as well.
Yeah, no doubt. And I don't think me and Mason could even begin to explain to the listeners that don't know the impact that In God We Trust has had specifically on the show steer industry. But, I mean, the amount of champions produced is, I don't even know if anybody keeps track of that, but it's pretty impressive. Something that's definitely unique. And like Mason had said, some sons now that, are making their splash within that industry. But something that, me and Mason both come from breeding backgrounds, and I know the show steer deal's a little bit different, but whenever you have an individual that can make an impact like that, it's a one in a million kind of situation there, and something that I think is just really impressive. Speaks a lot about just the breeders themselves. Horn livestock with In God We Trust is a prime example of that. She's got 3 of them remaining out here. Just placed them, and we'll hear her thoughts on the class.
Interesting class here in terms of a lot of differences represented. The heifer that I land on to win this lineup is the one that's just the most complete. I think as I start breaking them down, to me, she's the one that offers the most good with as few holes that I'd like to change as any of them that we have out here. There's also some things that I'd like to nitpick on. I think this heifer is one that's still good enough in terms of her body type. I think she's still attractive enough through her front end. She's maybe not the stoutest in terms of her feature, but that's okay. I think what she blends together, she does the best in terms of completeness, and that's where I'm going to land to win this class. The black and white heifer is one that is really stout. She's really opened up at her base, so she's got some shape up high. She's soft in terms of her body depth. To me, she's a little harder to read at times. She's a little upright in her shoulders. She wants to kind of twist out there up front. She gets just a little bit harder there through her heart, and I think if you could blend all that just a little bit better, then maybe you got a heifer that you like, because from there back, I think there's a lot of things about that female that you can sure appreciate. The big baldy that we got coming in third is one that in terms of looking like a brood cow in the making, you know, she's it. She's one that takes a long, fluent stride. She's just plain for me. She's a little deeper in her chest, a little easy in her top line, a little plainer out of her hip. Maybe doesn't match up with that same look and presence as we had in a couple of those ahead of her. Black heifer coming next is a heifer that's long-fronted. She ties high there to the point of her shoulder. She's also one that I'd like to change just a little bit from a structure standpoint, but I think she's so much better in terms of her condition. That's what gets her the nod for me of this next pair. The roan heifer is one that's big-footed. She's stout-featured. She's level in terms of her type and kind. She's got plenty on her for me. I think if we could trim her back just a little bit and really see the kind of heifer that's there, that would definitely work in her favor, especially for this judge. The other roan heifer that we have out here is one that's soft in terms of her body type. To me, she gets just a little bit narrower and plainer off both ends. I'd like to just open her up in terms of width and power all the way through. The black heifer that we got coming next here is one that's long and extended out through her front end, but she's a bit more concerning when we ask him to go, as she gets a bit tighter, more restricted off both ends of her skeleton, a little more insecure out of her hock. Heifer that's coming next is another one that, again, from a femininity standpoint, I appreciate this heifer. To me, she's just plainer all the way through. I'd like to change her from terms of her build. I'd like to add just a notch more stoutness to her, relax her in her spine, and just let her move out with a little bit more freedom and ease. Heifer that's going to round out the class is a little longer strided than the heifer we just talked about, but to me, she just falls out in terms of true width and dimension in a competitive lineup. Congratulations to those exhibitors.
We thank you. I'd like to remind our exhibitors in class 13.
Just to rehash that last class in placings, first was Madeline McCullough, and second was Brandolyn Barillo. Oh, that'd be Barillo. Then in third was Rainey Hayes. Fourth was Kendall Nielsen. And fifth was Cadence Weirs. Sixth, Hudson Bounds. Seventh, Briley Combs. And eighth was Emma Caffey. And in ninth was Juliana Martinez.
Yeah, once again, just congratulations to them in that class. And, you know, another really nice set. It looks like predominantly black type heifers heading in now, but looks like, you know, definitely quality within the set.
For sure. No, yeah, working our way here into our junior division drive. Mikey talk about, you know, some differences in terms of just, you know, minute phenotype, but in the same breath, you know, cattle that are all similar just in terms of quality, and you know, their basic builds and fundamentals that make them good.
Yeah, no doubt. And, you know, one thing I think we won't have very long here before Miss Bloomberg begins talking, but I think it's important, you know, from mine and Mason's perspective. I know there's a lot of parents that might not be able to make it here, grandparents or, you know, fans out in the crowd that have young exhibitors that are here, you know, showing and they're connected to some kind of way. You know, just think it's important for all of those people behind these exhibitors to realize that the impact that they have on them. And I think it's, you know, one thing it's not easy. I guess and me and Mason have both witnessed this firsthand. Even though I didn't show quite as much, I did show a little bit early on. It's something that's not easy for parents to make everything work, just in terms of the amount of time, money, and just effort that's honestly spent. Parents have full-time jobs and things going on, and that keeps them busy. So I want to commend them all for having their kids in these projects. I think it's something that will form their life in a way that is really unimaginable. And me and Mason are firsthand, gets examples of that. And so I think it's worth giving all of them credit, because something that's truly important. It's an industry that's like no other, and something that I think will definitely benefit all of these kids in the future, whether it be in a judging livestock type setting or whatever it might be, their future, whether it's related to ag or not. The things that they learn are still extremely beneficial and extremely valuable. Here's Miss Bloomberg. I think she's going to give some words before the division.
Lineup out here within this division, and a lot of quality that was represented within these respected classes. And I think for me anyway, there was a couple heifers that were a bit more memorable as they came through, and when they come back out here, to me there's a pretty logical place to land in terms of your division winner. And then from there, I think depending on what you preference and what your priorities are in your own breeding operation, there's a couple different directions you can go. I'm going to go out and show you the two that are my favorite. If you would, please put your hands together for these exhibitors one more time from this nice division.
And ladies and gentlemen, your Class 9 first place, taking the champion honors here in the junior division. That goes to entry 16499, Ansel Williams of Van Alstine FFA. Will move in entry 28068 for reserve consideration.
So, your division champion would have been Ainsley Williams there out of that third class. That female would have been raised by K&S show cattle there. Oh, and your reserve comes out of Class 1.
Our winner there was entry 32092, Ariel Marie Roja of Washington County 4-H, taking the reserve honors here in your junior division of the ORBs.
So your champion there, that would have been raised by K&S there, and Billy Stuckey and his crew up there, and Williams family does a great job and has always shown some very competitive females. I know that young lady exhibited the champion polled Hereford heifer in Fort Worth there a couple weeks ago. Very competitive, hardworking kind of family, and just a girl that poured her heart and soul into these cattle and done a phenomenal job throughout each stage of her show career.
Yeah, no doubt. And, like we said, the quality is just extremely good of the cattle and, the exhibitors as well. So, like I mentioned before, all of that can really be credited to the parents' support system behind these exhibitors that make it all possible. I know, speaking just for myself, and I'll speak for Mason as well, I know that neither one of us would have been able to do this without the support of our parents. And I think it's, something that's just remarkable. And the support team that's around these kids, whether it be grandparents, family, aunts, uncles, whoever it might be, they're definitely, because I can think of them, just for myself, definitely just major support. It's usually unwavering, and that's, what gives these kids the confidence and just ability to come out here and be able to take part in such a great event like this. So, without that support, Mason was off here for a second. I just mentioned that without the support of our parents and like these young exhibitors, they wouldn't be able to do, the awesome job that they do without the support of parents and, just whoever's in their circle, just a whole support system, because it definitely takes a whole team of people to make all this work for each animal individually. Like, for example, here we have, 7 heifers in this class, and no telling how many people are behind each one of those heifers that get them to the point now where the young exhibitors can bring them here in the ring.
For sure. I know it might sound a little corny, and a lot of people like to use it, but the saying, it takes a village. And when you're going to a cattle show, or whether you're raising them, breeding them, feeding them, whatever it may be, it truly does take a village. I know just with my family and my operation at home, there are so many things that go into, from the time that cow gets AI'd or that embryo gets put in till they're born, sold, whatever it may be. And then you want to talk about people. I know this show is blowing show, but getting one dressed is extremely challenging and difficult. Something that I'm passionate about and think is extremely fun and enjoyable on most days, unless you're fitting about 30 of them. That ain't very fun. But it just takes so many people to get to this point, to get in the ring, for everything to go right, for the animal to act fine. You get into these senior yearlings I talked about in a couple other breeds. Man, you're getting here in February and into March on these older females, and depending on when you AI'd them or when you bull bred them, whatever it may be, you're getting awfully close to calving. Fun story that I told once there in the Hereford show. I was about 9 years old. It was my second year in Houston, and I was blessed enough to have the champion Hereford female, and we knew going in she was pretty close to calving. We didn't know how close, and we got to the show, and she started really dropping the bag, and got through breed, and she ended up winning. That was a big moment for me at that time of my life, and got into the Grand Drive, and we were kind of sitting there, and I was looking, and right there in front of her hook bone, and I just kept seeing kind of a twitch. And I wasn't 100% sure on what was going on. And I got done and went to my dad and said, "Hey, I don't know what was happening, but there was this thing. Look, it was punching her side inside of her. I knew she was pregnant." He goes, "Yeah, Mason, that thing's kicking." I said, "Oh, nice." So we went home about an hour and a half from Houston late that night, back to our house. And the next morning around 6 a.m., she actually calved. Thank goodness she kept it in her that long, because I've seen a lot of times here at these Texas majors where the cows will calve here at the show.
Yeah, definitely unique on that front. I guess couldn't have timed that AI any better, or whatever, however you bred her. Couldn't have timed something like that any better, because I think it's tough on some of these deals. You want to have a big calf in them whenever they're shown in these older divisions, and just makes it the heifers look so bold sprung in their rib and things of that nature, and just aid to just their look of quality. So as Houston is the last of the Texas majors, as you get wrapped up there, I guess maybe Austin, depending on whether you go or not, but Houston's the last one that has huge numbers, I guess, in a sense. And couldn't have probably timed that one any better if calving right when you get home.
Here the young man brings this on this end of the class. I think this is a female that sure gets your attention fast. She's one that's built right. She's one that's correct. But most importantly, in this particular lineup, she's got the right look and presence for me. She represents brood cow utility in terms of her center body, yet at the same time, she's attractive and good designed in terms of her look. She gives you some extra eye appeal from a profile. Just a nice place to start here in this particular lineup. Young man's other black heifer that we got here that's going to end up in second is one that I appreciate her basic build. She's one that's soft in terms of her center body. She's still feminine enough up front. She's not as stout and powerful as the heifer that placed directly ahead of her, but still I think she's got some parts and pieces that you can sure appreciate. The black and white heifer is one that to me is a high volume kind of a female that's good in terms of her top line. She's pushing just a little bit extra condition. I'd like to trim that back, but at the same time, I think there's more genuine good to her from both a structure standpoint and a softness and practicality aspect to go ahead and keep her up towards the top. Solid black heifer coming next is one that's maybe just a little bit plainer today, but as I break her down and kind of analyze the true pieces that are there, she's the next most correct in terms of her structure. She's the one that I like in terms of her basic practicality of what we have left out here. She is just a little bit plainer, though. Maybe doesn't match up with as nice a balanced look as a few of those that placed ahead of her. Red heifer coming next is opened up. She's stout and wide pinned and has some shape to her when you get on top of them. them. To me, though, she's a bit more insecure in the way that she handles herself on the go. She really wants to duck underneath herself from behind, and is a heifer that, in my opinion, is just a little coarser all the way through. The black heifer coming next is one that is tall-fronted. She's strong in terms of her top line. She's got some foot and bone underneath her. I just like to change her angles. She's a bit upright in her shoulder, and consequently, she's pretty stilty there off her front end, and at the same time, she gets a little higher in her tail head and steeper out of her hip to make her just a bit more upright from behind as well. So collectively, it's from a structure standpoint that she sorts herself on down for me. The red and white heifer that's going to close out the class is one that's soft in terms of her center rib. I appreciate that about her. She's one that's pulls together a nice top line. She's just plainer in terms of her look. She's a little deeper in her chest, a little lower set up front. And when we ask them to go, she's another one of those heifers I just like to change from a flexibility standpoint.
Results there out of that class, and first would have been Jake Heyman, in second Levi Buchanan, third Ava Gayton, in fourth Lily Jones, fifth Caden Gaffke, sixth Cross Combs, and seventh would have been Jaden Maldonado. And that would round out our class. Great pair of them up there at the top end of that class, and maybe a little different in terms of their kind, but those were very, very good. Young man that wins that class, that heifer would have been bred by Keegan Moonen up there in Oklahoma, and a very, very good female. And then second would have been raised by Sullivan Farms up there in Dunlap, Iowa. That'd be a daughter of the great Rebus. So a good pair of them, and females that are bred about as good as you can make down here in San Antonio, and just fun cattle to look at and good quality all the way through.
Yeah, no doubt. Like I told Mason, we forgot to mention the heifer that landed in third there. We had a little Hereford influence, I believe,
little black Hereford action.
Yeah, I saw the feather there, and so as two Hereford breeders here, or prospective Hereford breeders. Something that I think is pretty unique, and thankful to see it out here in the breed. We got a little bit of a different type color pattern here. I guess another Shorthorn Plus type deal, but a blue roan looking heifer that's out here.
A nice little blue roan there coming in that first slot there. Yep.
Yeah, something that I think is pretty unique. You don't see that every day. I don't at least I don't. So something that I think is pretty unique.
I know going through the feed yards this summer there in my internship, I went a lot of different places, and you're always looking for something fun and something interesting that isn't some 1,700-pound Angus steer. And when I'd see a blue roan, that was always pretty entertaining, and to kind of pick the minds of those cattle buyers I was with. And they don't see all of these show cattle all the time, so when they see a blue roan or something of that nature, they're like, holy smokes, and that was fun, just to pick their brain and see how they went about things. And any painted up American, they just call those things bucking bulls. It's like, well, not quite sure if that's correct, but to each their own. Whatever floats your boat.
Yeah, no doubt. I think one thing that I've appreciated a lot more, within the last few years back home, we began backgrounding some feeder cattle, and I've learned real quick. It takes all kinds of cattle. We go through some of those, and coming in every week. Some of them are really good quality cattle, and some of them maybe not so much. And there's it's like a rainbow of colors amongst them. But one thing I've begun to learn to appreciate about every single one of them, no matter what they are, what their breed type is, it takes all of them, to keep the food chain, going around. And especially now with the way our industry is, the cattle market is the best it's ever been. And, who knows how much better it can even get. But one thing about that is I think something that's even unique to tie back to this show is no matter the breed, honestly, of beef cattle, they're all important because it takes all of them. They all go into the food chain, and they all go into these feedlots like Mason had said. So from a real-world aspect, something that's definitely important.
For sure. And heck, I know a few weeks back, and just in terms of the Choice Select spread, I know it was actually going the other way, and it was $2 in favor of Select. And I think it's gone back the other way now. But like Blaine said, we got to have diversity amongst the the national cow herd. And although we could take as many prime Angus steers that are weighing 1,800 as possible. And all them guys want to talk about them dandies. It takes all kinds, and it takes all shapes, sizes, and colors. And I don't know if a 1,700-pound Angus steer, what his mother looks like, is just going to sit there and thrive, in a place like Florida or something relative to a place like Montana. So, we've talked about it probably, too much in this breed, but I do think it's something that holds relevance regardless of what side of the industry you're on.
Yeah, no doubt. And one thing that I think is unique, the Choice Select spread today, Mason had mentioned it, so I went ahead and looked it up. It's a little over $5, close to $6 there. And, one thing, like Keith said, when it's the other way in favor of the Select cattle, a lot of these cattle that are out here within this breed of ORB heifers, see a lot of shape, a lot of muscularity in some of these heifers. And those are the kind of things, I guess, that you, what we're talking about when we're talking about Choice Select spread, just the way the cattle grade in terms of quality. But, a lot of these, more shapely type cattle that, have a ton of, just chock full of muscle. I guess, some of that kind would be a little more beneficial whenever the Choice Select spread is in favor of cattle that grade Select. So, it just kind of depends on that.
Yeah, and it's funny you should talk about that, and we talked about it a little bit here the past couple days with this Top Judge program. But I do think there is so much crossover between that side of this industry and in the show cattle as well. I've seen some things here recently about, this is all just fluff and puff, and, any people that have show cattle, don't understand what the real world is like. And I totally disagree with that. Although I'm all for, getting them as hairy and presented as nice as possible. And, we might have some feet and leg issues and some other issues, dystocia and things like that. But, there's those things in all cattle. I'm not going to sit here and tell you I didn't see a ton of cattle with rancid feet and, rancid structural problems, throughout my time looking at cattle and feed yards and whatever it may be. But this is a tool for these kids, and, a lot of times it helps you get involved on the other side of the industry, on the commercial side. I know the people that I worked alongside, a lot of them had background, whether it be in livestock judging or showing livestock, regardless of species. This is just a tool for these young people, and I think it is something that has been so good to myself. I know it's been so good to Blaine, and I think it does hold a ton of relevancy in the industry as a whole.
Yeah, no doubt. And I think it's unique, and Mason as well has been in this in this, I guess, realm of things. When they were back in Schulenburg, his dad had a lot to do with, the stocker calf program that was there, and involved with that. And then, now, like I'd said, with my family just becoming involved in that same industry, background in feeder cattle and stuff. I think it's unique whenever people are able to be involved in this side of the industry as well as that side of the industry. Kind of, I know that, like Mason said, there's differences, and there will always be differences. It's just the way it's going to be. I mean, we're talking about a show ring setting, so two completely different deals. But we'll let Ravenna talk, and we'll pick up here in a second.
Another nice class here. Differences, yes, but to me, the one that just comes together as offering the most positives is a young man's heifer. Now, I will say I'd like to change the way that she moves off her front end, but I think that there's something to be said about all these heifers and maybe wanting to change them in a place or two structurally. So aside from that, she's a good-bodied heifer, one that has some stoutness throughout, one that I like her look at the stand. That's the one that I choose to start with. Heifer that's going to end up in second, she's a long-strided kind of a heifer, one that I appreciate her flexibility. She, comparatively, though, is a little narrower gauge. She's a little flatter constructed, but I like her softness and her kind and her look of femininity to go ahead and keep her in second. The heifer that's going to be third out here that's pulling into her spot right now is another one that's got a good body type to her. I like their teat size and spacing. She's one that's feminine in terms of her look up front. When you set them in motion, she gets a little tighter in the way that she handles herself from behind, doesn't go out and reach with as much flexibility as I'd like to see. The red heifer coming next is one that just kind of kept working itself on up for me. She's a moderate kind of a heifer that's proportional in terms of her body depth. She's got a good, nice feminine look up front in terms of her extension. In this particular lineup, she maybe cuts up just a bit more in terms of her flank. She's just a little bit coarser in terms of her overall build, but I still like her presence and her added stoutness over a few of these that come behind her. The roan pair that's going to be next, young lady's got a cow here that's done her job. She's got a calf at side. I appreciate those things about her. To me, I just like to change her structurally. She's too tight and restricted off both ends of her skeleton, resulting in a pretty short, choppy step. The black heifer that's going to come next here is one that's getting close to having a calf at side, and I definitely appreciate that about her. But to me, she's one that's pushing it just a little bit in terms of condition, and when you think about it, how deep she is there through her chest, she also gets just a little tighter there through her forerib. It doesn't quite match up with that same look of balance or stoutness as we have in several of those that placed ahead of her. The white heifer coming next is big-footed. She's heavy-boned. I like those things. To me, she's a little bit coarser in her look up front. She gets more upright in her shoulders. She deviates a little bit more there through her heart. I'd like to blend that in just a little bit smoother, give her just a bit notch more flexibility all the way through as well. Blue roan heifer that we got coming next here is one that's soft-centered, one that I appreciate her added length and extension from her shoulder forward. To me, she's another one, though, that's a bit more refined at the ground. She's tighter in terms of her movement and shorter in terms of her step. The white heifer that's coming next is another one that's good in terms of her top line. She's stout out of her hip. I'd like to change her structurally as well. Several of these heifers just get a little too tight for me. I'd like to see them with a notch more flexibility. The red heifer that's going to round out the class is the longer strided kind of a female. To me, she's just a little bit plainer all the way through. She narrows up considerably and doesn't have as much shape and power.
Big class there in our January, Februaries, and in first would be Tegan Hurst. Second was Mackenzie Gabbard. In third was Lila Seymour. Fourth, Layla Chavez. Fifth was Kenley Akins. In sixth was Emily Blackman. Seventh, Lily Vo. In eighth was Caden Ard. And ninth was Kyle Pipple. And 10th was Hadley Wagner, and that was the conclusion of that class. And we'll now go into our senior yearling class that is comprised of females that range in age from both of them September's here in our senior yearling class. Pairs.
Both of them are pairs.
Yep.
And a lot of resemblance, I guess, within the color patterns.
For sure.
A little white on the, one of the calves, and then the other one's dark color, but then their moms are flip-flopped in that regard.
It's completely flip-flopped. We got a solid black cow, painted up calf, black and white cow, and a solid black calf.
Pretty unique there.
For sure.
Like I was saying before, Miss Bloomberg gave her comments on the class previous to this one, with mine and Mason's background within the industry, and the different, routes, I guess, if you will, different sides of the industry within show cattle, and then the, feeder calf side of things, and leading into the feedlot side of things. I think it's unique whenever, and I'm proud of, having the background I do, and I know Mason is as well, being able to tie those things together, because I think it is, prospective breeders, like I said one day, and, both of our families, like we've grown up raising Hereford cattle. I think it can make you a better breeder whenever you are able to appreciate the other end of the industry in terms of the stocker and feeder cattle. It helps you realize how important it is. And I think the things that you learn from that can just help you honestly become better at your craft, because it truly is an art at the end of the day of just, breeding good cattle. And, I think that's just, for the both of us, the experiences we have, like Mason had said, running through these feedlots. And like I said, seeing feeder cattle.
RB show, in terms of classes with a couple of pairs that are represented out here doing their job in terms of reaching that next stage of production. And my compliments to these exhibitors for that. I'm going to leave them lined up the way that they came in. I like the added stoutness and the added shape that you have in the young man's female here on this end. She's just a little bit more powerful in terms of her build, one that goes to the surface with a bit more substance as well. I'd like to clean her up through her chest floor. I'd like to make her just a notch more proportional in terms of her look from the side, but at the same time, I think that she's the one that I just gravitate towards in terms of her foot, in terms of her added stoutness and her shape and power. The Baldy heifer pair that comes behind her is one that's sure long-fronted. I appreciate that about her. She's got a nice calf at side. In terms of the structural build of her calf, I think that's to her advantage. I think that that's a female there as a pair that really represents some good. To me, she just narrows up a bit more off either end of her skeleton. She wants to get up in her tail head and get just a bit more A-frame in terms of her shape up high. But a nice double pair of them here to end on. If you would congratulate these exhibitors.
Before we'd gotten cut off there, I was just mentioning how, on both sides of that, and I apologize for overlapping there with Miss Bloomberg, but, on both sides of that, I think it can make you better within your respective, breeding position, wherever that might be, just having the ties to different sides of the industry. But Mason will go ahead and give you the results here from the previous class.
Yep, results right there between those pair of pairs. In first was Reese Schwab, and in second was Briley Morris.
Yeah, congratulations to them. I'd just like to mention as we get here into this deal, Miss Ravenna Bloomberg just realized that it's been over 12 hours since she stepped foot here on the turf in San Antonio. Judging the class, and just thanks to her and all the time and effort that she's put into working with these young exhibitors, giving them all amounts of ample amount of time, interacted with them throughout the day, and just been very good at being efficient, yet still giving the exhibitors the look that they get their heifer the look and make sure that they're seen, make sure that they're placed exactly how they need to be. And it's not easy as you move in. She took a short lunch break and moved into now the 12th hour of this show, so it takes a toll on a person. And she stayed very energetic with the kids and continued her efficiency, but just give a shout out to her, I guess, for working through the show so well from her side of things. It's not easy, and I know it's easy sometimes for people to if they don't like outcomes and things of that nature of the show, it's really easy to I guess get hard on the judge because they're the easy one to blame for certain things. But I think it's really important that they get the credit they deserve. She spent 12 hours out here today. It'll be over that amount of time by the end of this deal, working with all of your young people, all the people that are listening, and working through them and giving them her time. So, I think it's just important to be appreciative of her and all that she's done here today. And then Miss Barber and the North Ring as well, both of them, exceptional job.
Yeah, for sure, and we're about to get into our senior yearling division. It'll be interesting as they come out and kind of how they piece together. I know we got a cow-calf pair. We got kind of some hammers there spread out throughout this division. It'll just be fun to see kind of her take on what she's going to do here.
Yeah,
no doubt. This is extremely off topic. I was just kind of scrolling on my phone, and just wanted to say to all those people that were affected there in the Texas Panhandle, the Panhandle of Oklahoma, and there in the western Kansas, they're still battling that fire, that we are praying for you and thinking of you. I know it's been a tough week for those producers and those people that have been affected by the Ranger Road fire. So if you are listening anywhere at home, we are thinking of you and hoping that they get that put out, and we can carry on with all the things and all the great agriculture that goes on in that area.
Yeah, no doubt. Just in the thoughts and prayers of both of us, just for the right kind of weather to settle that deal down, and hopefully the wind dies down, and it takes a lot of people whenever that kind of stuff goes on. A lot of volunteer firemen and different things like that. I mean, it's tough and it's really devastating what it can do, and I know that hits too close to home sometimes because you people that just become heavily affected by some of those things. And it's important also, if you know of anybody up there and you're not affected by the tragedy of those fires, that if you could give whatever it might be. I know that those people become in need of things. If they're cattle people specifically, I know we're here commentating a heifer show and cattle show, so that's some hay or whatever it might be. I know that I'm sure there'll be things set up that by some people and coordinated to where if those people are in need of help and there's people that are able to give to that cause. I think it's something that's very worthy of receiving or giving some attention to, and definitely whenever they're in need of help, just important to always remember those people, because you never know whenever you'll end up in need one day, and those same people within this amazing industry typically are always there to help you. So definitely important.
And something to touch on that I think is neat, and we're young and both use some social media. And I know the first day that fire broke out and the wind got real rough, that I already saw a deal up about where they were gathering hay and where guys could go and drop hay off, and there was already people flooding there to go and help those people out. And I think that speaks volumes to this industry and the kind of people that are here and spread out throughout the country, and what a tight-knit community that we have, and just the support that is amongst all of these people that do this great thing that we call livestock showing, and different things that just involved in what we do.
Yeah, no doubt. And just to kind of touch base with that, back with where we're at here, in San Antonio, working through these young exhibitors today, the lessons that, what they're taking part in and teaching here through the stock show and through these projects and what these exhibitors learn is what makes them, the great kind of people that go on one day to organize, some of these deals that are helping people out in need. It's a tight-knit industry, even though it's so widespread, like we had said, just within the state, so widespread here in Texas. A lot of miles could be covered, but at the end of the day, it's all a tight-knit community, and just think it's something that's really cool, because these programs form kids into being helpful of people that become in need one day, and that's just one example of one of the many benefits of this deal. I know they're pulling in the seconds out of these respective classes here, and to get a division and reserve champion here. A lot of black cattle out here in this particular division lineup.
A lot of black cattle. Good lineup.
Well, our final division out here, and a nice set of females. They come back out. Looks like we maybe had a little casualty back behind, but I think that all 5 of these females and what they represent offer you quality. They offer you things that you can really use within different production programs, and definitely something these young people can leave here proud that they were able to exhibit at the San Antonio Livestock Show. If you would put your hands together, I'm going to go out and show you the 2 that I like best in this division. My compliments to all these exhibitors.
And ladies and gentlemen, from Class 13, your
Well, congratulations to that set of exhibitors that's champion in reserve there. One thing I want to point out before Mason gets your results here, young man that won champion in this particular division, he tipped his hat to Miss Bloomberg whenever she gave him the handshake. I think that's something unique. You usually see some male judges, they'll often tip their hat to a young lady that might win, but just shows the respect of the people and the young people in the industry, and just the kind of morals that their parents instill in them at home is something that's important and definitely noticed.
Oh, for sure, especially in this state. I'm pretty proud of being from Texas, and we got a lot of kids that grow up with an understanding of just respect and manners for the people that are older and wiser than them, such as Miss Bloomberg. And I'll go ahead and read off your results. Your champion there come from Jake Heyman. Like I said, that would be a female there from Keegan Moon in Oklahoma. In reserve was Levi Buchanan with a heifer from Sullivan Farms there in Dunlap, Iowa. With a daughter of Reba's Fancy. So, good pair of them. Like I talked about, those are cattle from very respected breeders and breeders that are kind of scattered out all across the country. So, we're going to work our way into our champion drive here. And, I'm just going to go out on a limb and say we probably got a percentage semi there in the calf division. Maybe a maintainer, key main Angus kind of female out of that second division. I'd say likewise there with the third. And then we had a percentage semi there, I know for sure, that was reserved in that senior yearling division.
And no doubt, one thing I think it's unique to hit on here while we're, finishing up or getting close to finishing up. Me and Mason each had the honor and opportunity last night to visit with Miss Bloomberg as well as Miss Barber. But I know, and I'll remember, one of the unique things that Miss Bloomberg had to say was how awesome the opportunity is for her to be here judging the Junior Heifer Show this week. And then next week, her husband, Dr. Blake Bloomberg, will be here evaluating, the Market Steer Show. So definitely, like she had said, a full circle moment for her being able to, it's unique coming down and being able to, step foot in the same ring that her husband is. And I think that's something that's, within the industry, just the connections that are made with people. It's, something that you can appreciate, the vast amount of people that are within the industry. To be able to do something that similar with your spouse is definitely unique.
Yeah, I don't know if it's ever been done at a major. Maybe. You got Mark and Debcor that both do a tremendous job evaluating and have come down to Texas quite a few times and sorted through, our junior breeding heifer shows. But I'm not sure, on just one doing junior market and one doing the junior breeding heifers. So definitely a unique opportunity. And we'll turn it over to Miss Bloomberg. She's going to go ahead and talk our last breed here of the day.
Up out here for our champion of our final division. But before I make any other comments, I know it's been a long day. There's been a lot of cattle in and out of this ring. If you would, and you're still around ringside here, put your hands together for the crew that's got them in and out of here. They've done a nice job, and there's been a lot of cattle we've had to work through, and they've stuck with it, and they've worked well with me, and so I appreciate that. I think this lineup of cattle is nice. I think that for me, the division winners out here represent so much good in terms of their basic build, their type and kind are what I gravitate towards in terms of being soft-bodied, good in terms of their structure, and still offering you some extras in terms of presence. The respective seconds behind them within those divisions are no slouches either. I think that they offer so much quality, and some of those divisions ran really, really deep. So my compliments to all these exhibitors on bringing some high-quality females out here to the show, being able to compete at the top end of this respected breed. Only 2 of them get to take home a banner, but I hope the rest of these individuals know just how fortunate they are to get a piece of something. I know how much work and effort goes into this, so I congratulate each of you on making it back out here. Like I said, it's been a long day, so I'll try to keep my comments brief. I'm going to go out and show you the 2 that I like that just combine so much good in terms of their basics. I like their design. I like their structure. I like the extras that they have to offer. If you would, put your hands together one more time on a nice lineup of females.
Your champion there comes out of our junior division. That'd be Miss Ainsley Williams.
Yeah, with that particular heifer, unique, huge set of feet and legs that she just uses so well. I think that's something that's pretty
neck,
unique.
Stout featured, kind of a female. Very, very high quality one to go ahead there.
They're now moving in the second place here for reserve contention.
And there's your reserve. And once again, a nice tip of the cap from that young man. Your reserve comes out of your Division III. That was Jake Heyman. Like I talked about, that'd be a female from the Moonin program there. So awesome job, phenomenal ORB group. We're going to take a quick break, and then we'll kind of go into these scholarship presentations, something that we've talked about today that's just been extraordinary for these kids. So thank you all for tuning in, and see you at the next one.
Yeah, and like Mason said, it was honor being honor being here with Top Judge, and just want to say thank you to Dan Lane, Dr. Scott Griner, and all the people involved with this deal, as well as Dr. Ferris of San Antonio. I mean, a first-class event that he's putting on here, and I know that me and Mason are just super excited to be a couple buddies here that grew up together that just had a small part in it. So something that we definitely don't take for granted. Congratulations to all the champions throughout the day, and y'all have a good evening.
For sure, it's been a true honor, and so fun to sit around here with you, Blaine. So thank you all.
Every detail matters when preparing your livestock for the show ring. At Producers Co-op, we offer high-quality show feed, supplements, and supplies designed for your animal's best performance. Our specialized feeds promote optimal growth, conditioning, and muscle development for cattle, sheep, goats, pigs, and more. With expert advice and reliable products, we're dedicated to your success. Trust us to help you reach your goals with the feed that works as hard as you do. Come see why at Producers Co-op, it's better here.
carried live here beginning at 8:30 when we start our presentations. TaylorFort.com or Taylor Fort on YouTube will access that live stream of tonight's event.
Right here. All right. How's everybody doing this evening? I'm Dane Elliott, chairman of the Beef Cattle Committee, and welcome y'all to the 77th annual San Antonio Livestock Show and Rodeo. Tonight we're picking our British Division champion and our Continental Division champion. Few things about the stock show. This is our 77th year. Since we started, we've given $279 million back to the kiddos that have come across these fairgrounds. We've given scholarships to over 19,000 kids since the scholarship program has started. We have 1,500 currently on scholarship all across universities across the state of Texas. We have entries and participants from all 254 states. 254 counties in the great state of Texas. They all come through these barns. First of all, I want to thank the judges, the two wonderful ladies that judged all our cattle today. They ran through 661 head in a very short amount of time. I think they did a wonderful job. Let's give those judges a big round of applause. Next, I want to thank my Beef Cattle Committee. My vice chair is Harvey Kainer Jr. Harvey, give a wave. Our steering committee lead is Miss Kayla Warren, who used to be our chairman. And then we have some assorted AVPs and other dignitaries, and our livestock chairman, Mr. Ryan Coble. But I'm going to brag about this Beef Cattle Committee a little bit. This is our 10th day. 10th day this committee's been on grounds. We've run 2,200 head through this barn, 3 arrivals, 2 barn turnovers, and a partridge and a pear tree. They have done a wonderful job. But the other thing is I want to thank all you parents, step-parents, aunts, uncles, grandparents, ag teachers, county agents, 4-H leaders, whoever helped get these kids down the road. We know this is a year-long process. This is not a short project. I grew up showing cattle, so I understand that. But I want to give y'all a big round of applause. Give each other a big round of applause. Without y'all, these kids couldn't get that done. And that is where we are now, the kids. Those kids, y'all been in the barn with them. Y'all know how hard they work out here in this show ring to present those animals the way that they do. And I tell you what, I saw more hugs between exhibitors in this show ring the last few days than I've seen in a long time. That kind of sportsmanship we only see in the ag industry. Everybody wants to see everybody succeed. And let's give those kids a big round of applause. All right, y'all have heard me talk enough. I'm going to turn it over to Mr. Harvey Bearing, who is the voice of the San Antonio Heifer Show, and let him start introducing some of these wonderful kiddos.
Well, thank you, Dane, and once again, compliments to the committee for all the great job that they've done throughout our Heifer Show, a very smooth running show, and we're so pleased to see the executive committee members and you folks in the crowd here this evening. I believe we're ready to award some scholarships and recognize some champions exhibitors. And from our British breed, I'm going to do the first.
Yeah, we're going to start with our British breed champion exhibitors. Bring in Gage Creamer here from Ellis County 4-H. Gage showed our champion Hereford female here today at San Antone. Gage's parents are Jay and Lindsay Creamer. His hobbies and interests include, in addition to showing heifers and steers, he likes playing football, hunting, and fishing. His college and future plans, he would like to attend Texas A&M and major in animal science. For showing the champion Hereford female, Gage will receive a $10,000 scholarship presented by the San Antone Livestock Show and Rodeo, as well as a breed champion belt buckle presented by the San Antone Stock Show and Rodeo, as well as a membership to the Texas and Southwestern Cattlemen's Association. Let's give Gage another big round of applause on his champion Hereford heifer. Ask Sage Beerwinkle to enter into the show arena. Sage showed our reserve Hereford female here today. She is from the Spring Lake Earth FFA. Her parents are Cy and Allie Beerwinkle and Sarah Weldon. Her hobbies and interests include showing heifers and steers, playing basketball, and raising show cattle with her twin sister. She's not sure where she wants to go to college, but I guarantee you she looks smart enough to go anywhere she wants to go when that time comes. Sage is going to receive a belt buckle from the San Antone Livestock Show and Rodeo, as well as a membership to the Texas and Southwestern Cattle Raisers Association. Again, let's give Sage Beerwinkle a big round of applause on a reserve champion Hereford heifer.
And we thank you, Mr. Pierce. Over in the South Arena, Angus was her first breed, and the champion Angus was exhibited by Amelia Heatley of Norman GFFA. Her parents are Marty and Lindsay Heatley, and her hobbies include softball, volleyball, track, and Taco Bell. All right, free advertisement with that group. She hopes to attend Texas Tech University and become a veterinarian. Our $10,000 scholarship winner for the champion Angus. And in addition to the scholarship, she'll be receiving the belt buckle to commemorate her accomplishments here in San Antonio this year, as well as the Texas and Southwestern Cattle Raisers Association membership. Our reserve grand champion from the Angus breed, exhibited by Kinsley Kaylor. She's a Stevens County 4-H member, and Lacey and Lance Taylor are her parents, and being involved in 4-H as well as cheer, volleyball, and working in the barn with her heifer, Stormy, are her main interests and hobbies. Now, she's only 11 years old, so she's undecided about what college or university she might attend, but she plans to keep showing good show cattle, and congratulations to Kinsley. She'll be receiving a belt buckle as well as the Texas and Southwestern Cattle Raisers Association membership.
I'd like to invite Isabella Bomar into the show arena. Isabella is a member of the Ector County 4-H. Her parents are Michael and Ricky Bomar. Her hobbies and interests include rodeo and stock shows. She plans to attend Texas A&M University, and she wants to build a breeding program with her uncle, Cody Gomez. And I'm sure y'all will do a good job. For her efforts today, Isabella is going to receive a $10,000 scholarship from the San Antonio Stock Show and Rodeo, as well as a breed champion belt buckle donated by San Antonio, as well as a certificate of membership to the Texas and Southwestern Cattle Raisers Association. This time I'd like to invite Piper Carr into the show arena. Piper showed our reserve champion shorthorn heifer. She's a member of Lamb County 4-H, and her parents are Tyson and Alana Carr. Her hobbies and interests, she enjoys cheer, competing in 4-H and FFA events, golf, and raising and showing her heifers. She plans to attend Texas Tech to pursue a career in occupational therapy. She's going to receive a reserve breed champion belt buckle from the San Antonio Stock Show and Rodeo and a membership from Texas and Southwestern Cattle Raisers. Congratulations, Piper.
Hey. And ladies and gentlemen, our next champion that was named in the South Arena was our Red Angus. And our Red Angus champion exhibitor is not with us this evening because he's trying to earn his second championship today. He's involved in the regional tennis tournament for his school. That's Gage Tomasic, and he is a member of the Franklin FFA chapter. He's going to be receiving a $10,000 scholarship, and his parents are Justin and Nicole Tomasic, and that hobby of his being tennis and fishing and representing the school today in the regional tennis tournament this evening. And our reserve champion from the Red Angus was J.C. Atkinson of Bowling FFA. And his parents are Justin and Michelle Atkinson. And Jace's hobbies include showing cattle, fishing, and hunting. He plans to attend Sam Houston State University. He wants to become a rancher just like his grandpa. He'll be getting that buckle commemorating his reserve honors, as well as the Texas and Southwestern Cattle Raisers membership. Congratulations, Jace.
This time I'd like to invite Grady Creamer into the show arena. Grady showed our champion polled Hereford heifer this year in San Antonio. He's a member of the Ellis County 4-H. His parents are Jay and Lindsay Creamer. His hobbies include playing football and hunting with his brothers. He would like to play college football and major in ag, and I know a good place he can start. We need an offensive lineman there at Blinn College, and he can major in ag with us. He's going to be receiving a $10,000 scholarship from San Antonio, as well as a breed champion buckle from the San Antonio Stock Show and Rodeo, as well as a membership from TSCRA. Congratulations, Grady, on your champion polled Hereford female. Our reserve champion polled Hereford, shown by Jarrett Worrell from Mason County 4-H. Jarrett's parents are James and Shannon Worrell. Jarrett enjoys playing football, hunting, and showing cows. He plans on attending Texas A&M University and majoring in engineering. He'd sure like to thank and say thank you to all his show family and his cattle. He will receive a belt buckle presented to him for his reserve breed champion from the San Antonio Stock Show and Rodeo, as well as a membership to Texas and Southwestern Cattle Raisers. Congratulations on your reserve polled Hereford Jarrett. I'd like to bring in our champion Simmental exhibitor at this time. That's Madison Moore. Madison is a member of the Robinson County 4-H clubs. Her parents are Amber and Bear Moore. She enjoys livestock judging, showing cattle, and hanging with friends. She attends Texas A&M or Texas Tech and major in ag communications. Madison's going to receive a $10,000 scholarship from the San Antonio Livestock Show and Rodeo, along with a breed champion belt buckle and a membership to the Texas and Southwestern Cattlemen's Association. Congratulations to you, Madison. Let's bring in Riley Smith next to the judging arena. Riley showed our reserve champion Simmental female, and she's a member of the Brazoria County 4-H. Her parents are Brett and Shelley Smith. Her hobbies and interests include showing cattle, hanging with friends and family, and watching live music and going out on a boat. She has plans to attend Texas A&M University, major in animal science, and go on to vet school. Riley will receive a belt buckle from the San Antonio Stock Show and Rodeo, as well as a membership to Texas and Southwestern Cattle Raisers Association. Congratulations on your reserve Simmental, Riley.
And ladies and gentlemen, our champion limousine exhibitor, Kinley Mae Thomas. Kinley's with the Hockley County 4-H. Her parents are Kurt and Jessica Thomas, and her primary interest is showing cattle and judging livestock, and her hobby is playing pickleball. And she intends to attend Texas Tech University, hopes to become a livestock photographer, and she'll be getting the $10,000 scholarship as well as the buckle commemorating her accomplishments here from the San Antonio Livestock Show, as well as the Texas and Southwestern Cattle Raisers membership. Our reserve from the limousine breed, earned by Jace Parrish. She's a member of the Hardin FFA, and Angie and Cody Parrish is her parents. Her hobbies include working with her show heifer and spending time with her friends. Her future plans for education is Oklahoma State University, where she plans on majoring in animal science and minoring in embryology. And ladies and gentlemen, our Charlet champion was shown by Sadie Shears. Miss Sears is a member of the Maypearl FFA, Ellis County. And her parents are Christy and T. Seams. And her hobbies include livestock judging, plans to become a veterinarian, and attend Texas Tech University. She'll be receiving that $10,000 scholarship, as well as the belt buckle and the Texas Southwestern Cattle Raisers membership. Our next Our reserve grand champion was exhibited by Ashlyn Chisholm. She's a member of the Hardin FFA. Her parents are Jennifer and Brent McManus, and she enjoys being a member of the cheerleaders, and the pickleball is her favorite interest, as well as showing cattle. She plans to attend Oklahoma State University, major in animal science. She'll be getting a reserve belt buckle, and a membership to TSC Cattle Raisers Association.
I'd like to invite Kaylee Anderson into the judging arena at this time. Kaylee exhibited our champion Maine on Jew heifer. She is a member of the Hardin FFA. Her parents are Corey and Mandy Anderson. Her hobbies and interests include showing and cheerleading. Kaylee plans to attend Texas Tech University and study business. For her efforts here today, she's going to receive a $10,000 scholarship as well as a San Antonio Breed Champion belt buckle and a membership to the Texas and Southwestern Cattle Raisers Association. Congratulations on your champion Maine on Jew heifer today, Kaylee. I'd like to ask Boston Barrio to come into the show arena at this time. Boston's a member of the Midland 4-H. Her parents are Caleb and Charlie. Her hobbies and interests include volleyball, showing my heifers and steers, and spending time with my family. Now, Harvey, this is my favorite college and future plans I've ever read.
Let's hear it.
And what she says is, I'm still thinking on what I want to do because I'm only in the 4th grade.
You bet.
And she will think of something good, I'm sure.
You bet.
And she's going to receive a belt buckle for showing a reserve champion Maine, as well as a membership to the Texas and Southwestern Cattle Raisers Association. Congratulations to you, Boston.
Our champion, Kianina, came to us from Brooklyn DeBerry of Lamb County 4-H. And Miss Brooklyn will be getting a $10,000 scholarship as well as a belt buckle from the San Antonio Livestock Show and that Texas and Southwestern Cattle Raisers membership. Now, Brooklyn's parents are Aaron and Courtney DeBerry, and showing her heifers and playing volleyball are her primary interest, and hopes to go to college, become an embryologist, and raise show heifers. The reserve champion Kianina, exhibited by Kendall Rayfield, and Kendall's from the Lubbock Cooper FFA, and her parents are John and Kelly Rayfield. Showing cattle and being involved in FFA events are her primary interest, and she hopes to major in Ag Ed at Texas Tech University. She'll be receiving that belt buckle from the San Antonio Livestock Show, as well as the Texas and Southwestern Cattle Raisers membership. Kendall Rayfield. Congratulations, Kendall. And the final breed that was judged today in the ORBs, and that champion was shown by Ansley Williams. She's from the Van Alstine FFA chapter. Her parents are Bo and Sarah Williams, and showing cattle and livestock judging her primary interest. Planning to go to Oklahoma State University, would like to double major in ag communications and ag business. She'll be receiving a $10,000 college scholarship, as well as the buckle from San Antonio for champion ORB and the Texas and Southwestern Cattle Raisers certificate for membership. And the reserve ORB, exhibited by Jake Heyman. He's a member of the LaPorte FFA, and his parents are Jacob Heyman and Mary Heyman. Football is a primary interest. Also team roping and agricultural projects. Glenn College, how about that? You think you might know a professor or two there? Glenn College is a choice, and hopes to have a college scholarship in football and also major in algebra. Congratulations to Jake on his awards here at the show this year. That concludes all the breeds that were shown, and our exhibitors that won the championships and the reserves are headed back to take the halter, and we're going to have a Supreme Cattle Show here in just a few minutes. Thanks to all the members of the executive committee for being with us. Mr. Elliott, you have some comments?
We had a late arrival that joined us, our vice chairman of the livestock committee, Terry McFadden, and I didn't introduce the other voice of the beef cattle show, Mr. Doug Pierce.
You know, San Antonio is all about helping young people. We certainly do that they do that through the scholarship program for our 4-H and FFA members, and they do a lot to shape these kids once they go to college. I'd like to introduce and recognize a bunch of kiddos from Texas Tech and Texas A&M that have been here since Monday working the Junior Heifer Show day and night. We've got Weston Kelso from New Braunfels, Texas Tech. Colby Crow, Robinson, Texas, attends Texas Tech. David Garcia, Denver City, Texas, Texas Tech University. Aiden Barber, Channing, Texas. I think she might be kin to the judge, attends Texas Tech University. Ella Pinkham from Bull Verde, Texas, and she is attending Texas Tech University. Let's get into the Aggies. Cassie Jo Bennett from Midland, Texas. Connor Harbarth from Marion, Texas, Texas A&M University. Ashlyn Kale, Columbus, Texas, attending Texas A&M University, Kingsville. Got Daisy Hernandez from Progreso, Texas. She's attending Texas A&M University, Kingsville. Aaron Puchka from Shiner, Texas, attending Texas A&M University. Luke Bauer from Bastrop, Texas, attending Texas A&M University. And Colby Kirby from Muleshoe, Texas, attending Texas Tech University. I guarantee all the superintendents know that they couldn't handle this show without the help of the interns. So thank y'all very much, and we're awful proud of you. Start bringing in our breeds. We'll start with our Hereford winners. Let's lead in our champion Hereford female, exhibited by Gage Creamer from Ellis County 4-H. Our reserve champion, Hereford female, exhibited by Sage Bierwinkle, Spring Lake Earth FFA.
And ladies and gentlemen, our champion Angus, exhibited by Amelia Heatley, Normandy FFA. And leading out our reserve Angus, exhibited by Kinsley Kaler of Stevens County 4-H.
I'd like to invite our Shorthorn winners into the show arena. Showing our champion Shorthorn was Isabella Bomar from Ector County 4-H. And our reserve champion Shorthorn female, exhibited by Piper Carr from Lamb County 4-H.
And our Red Angus champion, as mentioned earlier, shown by Gage Thomasek, and He's from Franklin FFA. The young man is involved in the regional tennis tournament this evening. So we've got a substitute showman. And our reserve, Red Angus, exhibited by J.C. Atkinson of Bowling FFA.
I'd like to invite Grady Creamer into the show arena and to lead in his champion polled Hereford female. Grady's a member of the Ellis County 4-H. Also, Jarrett Worrell, bring your heifer in. Jarrett's a member of the Mason County 4-H, and he showed our reserve polled Hereford female here today in San Antonio. Our heifers from all of our British breeds. Let's give all these youngsters a big round of applause that had all the British breed winners. I'd like to take this opportunity to recognize and thank our judges for sharing their time and talents with us here today. Judging the females in our North Arena, we had Miss Terry Barber from Corrales, New Mexico and Channing, Texas. She is a territory manager for Atlanco Animal Health, and she's a managing partner in one of the most respected and well-known ranches in the state of Texas, and that's Barber Hereford Ranch. She is a member of that ranch with her parents and her brothers. She attended Texas A&M University as well as Clarendon College. She is very well known in livestock circles around the country, does a great job, did a super job in visiting with our youngsters here today. She's held several leadership roles in agriculture, as well as helping facilitate millions in Texas ag products marketed worldwide with former Ag Commissioner Susan Combs. We're certainly thankful to have Terry here with us here today. She did an outstanding job sorting through the cattle and working with our young people. Let's give Terry Barber a big round of applause for her time, effort, and talents sharing here with us at San Antonio today. Thank you, Terry.
And ladies and gentlemen, over in the South Arena, our judge evaluated a little over 400 head of cattle for 12 and a half hours consistently since 7 o'clock this morning. We're glad to introduce to you our judge there, Ms. Wavina Bloomberg. Originally, she's from Nebraska and grew up on a diversified livestock operation. Her passion for livestock industry led her to the Black Hawk East College and then on to Oklahoma State University, where she was a member of the livestock judging team. Actually participated in livestock judging at both of those institutions and was named an All-American on the junior college level and the university level for her judging abilities. She holds a degree in ag communication from OSU and an MBA from the University of Central Oklahoma. And Ravina has judged major shows all over the U.S., some 25 states, in fact, and she enjoys spending time evaluating livestock, and we certainly gave her a good time here today in San Antonio. And she and her husband, Blake, live in Secor, Illinois, and have 4 children. We're glad to have Ms. Bloomberg here in San Antonio today. Let's give her a big round of applause. We'd also like to recognize our superintendents that worked in the arenas today. And in the South Arena, we had Mr. David Wolf from Cotulla, Texas, and Mr. Jason Ott, superintendent officiating. In
So we're going to jump on here real quick as we go through our Supreme Champion British female. And it's just an honor for myself as well as Mr. Blaine Orkin to be right here beside us. I'm Mason Allen here as well, and we've been here throughout the week here through a program called Top Judge, and lucky enough to be sitting up here with a good friend, getting to watch over the Supreme Champion drive, and just an honor to be out here watching two incredible cattle women, and Ravenna Bloomberg and Miss Terry Barber, as they evaluate our Supreme Champion British drive. And we just all got to watch that scholarship presentation, and something that makes San Antonio so special is just how much they give back to the youth throughout our state. I know I was blessed enough to get that opportunity, and that made such an impact on me throughout college and as I round out and graduate there in May. And I'm just extremely honored and blessed to have been in that situation. And I know some of my favorite memories of my life was getting to be a part of a Supreme Drive like here in San Antonio, whether it was the junior breeding side or getting to go in what was AT&T Stadium and now the Frostbank Center, home of the San Antonio Spurs. Just two moments that'll stick with me for the rest of my life, and something that I'm very, very grateful for and hopeful. And I'm pretty sure that the kids that are in this ring will say the same thing as we go on down the road and they go through college, because I know just how much those scholarships mean, and more than anything, just this experience of being out here in the Supreme Champion lineup.
Yeah, no doubt. And like Mason had said, really an honor. I think Miss Barber's going to get some words in here.
Welcome to the final drive here tonight. This has kind of been our goal for the day, and what a great day it's been. I know speaking for Ravenna and I, we've been beyond humbled and very honored to be here and working with the staff and your superintendents, your interns, everyone who's made this show go so very smooth and well. And you know, like any San Antonio stock show, this is kind of the Super Bowl of the junior shows out here, and this has been nothing less than spectacular for us. Ravenna and I see these cattle very, very similar, which has made it fun today. Sorry, I got done a little early and you still had to go a little late, Ravenna, but you know, you did a great job, and I've really enjoyed spending time here with Stock Show and all the volunteers. You know, it comes down to, we think there's so much quality in these champions, obviously the equal reserves over here, but we've got a couple of heifers that kind of surface to the top in this British breed that we're very, very happy to be honoring and selecting tonight. So I'm going to say a few words about those, and then Ravenna's going to pick your champion and reserve. But I just want to say congratulations to the breeders and the exhibitors and all of you that are still here. This show means so much to everyone, and I know your scholarships are phenomenal, and they're second to none, as is this stock show. I think it comes down to a couple of heifers that we just feel like are exemplary in terms of their composition and their structural soundness, and everything they breed to a breeding program. And we're very proud to have all of these heifers in this lineup. But with no further ado, I'll turn it over and let Ravenna pick your champion overall for the British. Thanks again, and thanks for having us. Congratulations to everyone out here.
There's your grand champion.
And there's your Supreme Champion out of our British females. Comes to us from our polled Heifers, and that's shown by Grady Creamer, Ellis County 4-H. Congratulations to you, Grady. Our champion overall female out of our British breed will receive a plaque from the San Antonio Stock Show and Rodeo and a TSCRA cap.
Well, congratulations there to Mr. Kramer, as he exhibited the champion polled Hereford female, and then went on to win Supreme overall. Now Miss Barber and Miss Bloomberg are going to select your Reserve Supreme, and that'll be the champion Angus female, so congratulations.
For our Supreme honors with the Angus heifer.
Yeah, so your reserve supreme there was Amelia Haley with the Angus. And once again, your supreme champion was your polled Hereford heifer exhibited by Grady Kramer. Just some tidbits on those heifers and kind of some background into them. Your supreme heifer would have been a marksman out of Cal, would be BF Novel from Burns Farms there in Pikeville, Tennessee. Very renowned Hereford breeders. Great female to go ahead and win. And then your reserve supreme champion would be sired by Good Times. She would be a Stag Good Times out of PVF Missy 2125, bred by Maddox Sewell, and goes back to the legendary PVF program there in Gridley, Illinois. Does a great job, both raising some of the best bulls used in the Angus show female industry, and bulls that go to work in both the bull battery side of things and making competitive show efforts. So, like we talked about, man, that scholarship presentation is so unique and so cool, and they give back so much money to the youth in the Texas livestock circuits. So such a neat experience once again that kind of comes full circle for myself to get to experience this as an exhibitor and then come up here and talk to all of y'all here on this live stream. And once again, I know it's full circle for someone like our judge, Miss Terry Barber, who got to exhibit cattle here growing up and participating in this program, and then come back this many years later and get to have the mic and be the judge out here. It's so neat. And this Supreme Drive is very, very special to a lot of people, I know, both here and at home.
Yeah, no doubt. And, just an exceptional set of females that have came through the ring today. Like Mason had said, both Miss Barber and Miss Bloomberg just did an exceptional job working through the young people, giving them, the time that they deserve for all the hard work that they put into their projects here. And I think it's just pretty unique. Not all shows, I don't believe, do a Supreme Drive like this. So for the kids to be able to come back out, and it's honestly just a chance to brag on them one more time for all their hard work that they put in to these females. And as you see here, like Mason had also said, just all the people that make the deal work. As you see in the ring now, the young lady with the Reserve Supreme British female is just taking a photo with all these volunteers and people that make, the ends meet here at San Antonio Livestock Show and Rodeo. And like you said, from the support of the scholarship side of things, and that goes far and wide through many different contests here. But like we had mentioned earlier in the day, and have continued to mention throughout the day, just through the Breeding Heifer Show, I think it was $205,000 worth of scholarships given out this week throughout the American breeds through the first wave earlier in the week, and then now as we get through British and Continental heifers today, $205,000 worth of scholarships is something that I think is pretty remarkable. And like Mason said, him and myself are both college students now, and something like that can be pretty life-changing in a way for these young exhibitors, because things definitely get expensive.
Yeah, like we talked about, those $10,000 scholarships are huge for all these breed champions. And then to take it another step, those exhibitors that just were lucky enough to get a piece of the British show get an additional $5,000 and just something pretty special. And I just mentioned it, but something, that impacted me a lot. And I know it's impacted youth across the state for many years, and will continue to do so with great people like those gentlemen and ladies that are standing in the middle of the ring.
Yeah, no doubt. And like we'd mentioned earlier in the day, I'm sure we have quite a few new listeners on now for the Supreme British Drive, but 39 people are hired on by San Antonio Stock Show and Rodeo, and the rest of it is made happen by volunteers that donate their time to these young people. So, something that's really appreciated, I'm sure, by everybody.
Mr. Doug Pierce will be making the introductions on the first breed.
Okay, we'll start our Continental Supreme Drive lineup with our Scimitar champions. I'd like to invite Madison Moore from Robinson County 4-H to lead in her champion Scimitar female. Congratulations, Madison, on your champion scimitar. I'd like to invite Riley Smith to lead into the ring. Riley's a member of the Brazoria County 4-H, and Riley showed our reserve scimitar female here today. Congratulations to you, Riley.
And next in the arena will be our champion limousine. Kenley Thomas, the exhibitor from Hockley County 4-H. And our reserve limousine, exhibited by J.C. Parrish of Hardin FFA. And our champion Charlet, exhibited by Sadie Sears of Maypearl FFA. And our reserve champion Charlet, exhibited by Ashlyn Grissom of Hardin FFA.
Our Main Anjou females will come in next. Our champion Main Anjou heifer, exhibited by Kaylee Anderson. Kaylee's a member of Hardin FFA. And our reserve champion Main Anjou female, shown by Boston Barrio from Midland County 4-H. Congratulations to Kaylee and Boston on champion and reserve champion Main Anjou females.
Our Kianina champion will be next in. He was exhibited by Brooklyn DeBerry of Lamb County 4-H. And the reserve champion, Kianina, exhibited by Kendall Rayfield of Lubbock Cooper FFA chapter. Our final breed, the ORBs, exhibited the champion there by Ashlyn Williams of Van Alstine FFA, and the reserve exhibited by Jake Heyman of LaPorte FFA. Let's give them all a big round of applause, ladies and gentlemen, for our Supreme Continental breeds. And our judges will be evaluating them and making their determination for the Supreme and the Reserve Supreme female from the Continental breeds shown here in San Antonio today.
Well, we just got a brief second here on our Continental lineup before we get to hear words from Miss Ravenna Bloomberg. But likewise to that British lineup, what a tremendous set of cattle that we have out here across breeds, and good representatives of their breed and what those breeds bring forth to the table within our beef industry. Cattle that are similar in terms of type and kind, but also do a great job, of just kind of showing the world, what that breed brings to the table, like I said. So great showmen, great kids, highly presented, good kind of cattle. Like I talked about, similar in their kind, they're good, but also just a shot different.
Yeah, no doubt. And, two different ends of the spectrum, once again, as we bring in, the British division first for Supreme Overall British, and now these females, just two types of breeds, I guess, that are known for completely different things. But, what hasn't changed, I know the breeds of cattle have changed and the different things of that nature, but what definitely hasn't is just the quality of the heifers all the way through the show. That's right now here in this deal of this Supreme Drive, but also in the British. And as we work through each class today, the quality of the cattle were exceptionally good, and what's even better than the quality of the cattle have been the quality of the showmen. Me and Mason had mentioned, it's not every day you watch a show throughout the whole day like we've done today, and have noticed that everything's gone pretty smooth, and that's a testament to the work that these young people put in behind the scenes, and also their family that supports them and their support system. Like Mason had mentioned earlier, and although he had quoted it's corny when used sometimes, but it takes a village to make this kind of stuff happen. So just exceptional, and the industry is just great, and it's something that's very unique to be a part of, and something that I know that both of us here are definitely appreciative of.
For sure. I think this is kind of unique. I'm just looking out here, and we have one guy showing in the entire Continental lineup, and I think that's a two-sided deal. Proud of him. Watched him get reserved there in the ORBs, and he tipped his cap to Ravenna in the same breath. We all know those girl showmen do a pretty phenomenal job, and most of the time will outstick a guy about 9 times out of 10, and that's being shown here in this Continental lineup with these girls that are absolutely firing away on the show stick and doing an incredible job.
Yeah, no doubt. And Mason and I had the privilege last night to meet with Miss Barber and Miss Bloomberg, and we had picked their brain about 2 females being able to judge here in both of the rings today as we work through, and they'd both agreed that was something that's unique, and I think it's unique that Mason points that out because I didn't even notice. But our industry is one that includes both male and female exhibitors to have equal chance at getting out here, and obviously we're heavier on one end today, but we're about to hear some words from Miss Barber or Miss Bloomberg here as we get into the drive, but we'll turn it over to her, and she'll give some remarks.
Well, I think they're taking some extra looks here, and I know I would as well, because this Continental lineup is very deep with cattle that I think could compete at any stage, at any level, at any time of their lifetimes. And I know there's a lot of females out here that have already gone on and competed at those major national shows and had a lot of success. Whether they're big bred heifers or little heifer calves, I think these things will continue to do that. And not only they will do that, but then go into programs and make a huge impact for those breeders and those exhibitors. And I think that's really, really neat.
Yeah, no doubt. And I can understand having to take another look here. I mean, the quality is deep all the way through this entire set of females. It gets tough in those situations. You can kind of select on some of the extras and what, the judges' priorities are in their mind. And I think that's something that's unique about these Supreme drives. You can bring in all the breeds, and they can evaluate them for what they think is best fit and for that respective breed, which female they think represents the best. And I think that's something that's really unique, as we've seen here in this drive. And I can understand them wanting to take an extra look. Just to touch base on what I'd said before about, the exhibitors, whether it's young men and women here in the ring, an exceptional job that they've done all day and early in the week as well. I know we weren't able to witness that, but I watched the live stream, and I'm sure Mason did as well, and you see just the quality of the young people here within our state, and something that's a testament. But here's Miss Bloomberg's remarks on the Supreme Drive.
Well, what an awesome event that you guys put on here in San Antonio. While we still got a little bit of a crowd, if you would, please put your hands together for this awesome group of people that put together an incredible show for these young people. In Illinois, they mentioned earlier, I have 4 kids, and we show quite a bit, but we don't have these venues. We don't have these kinds of major shows and these kind of opportunities to compete in. And so you guys are very fortunate down here in the state of Texas and have a lot to be thankful for. But aside from that, I know Terry and I have kind of talked a little bit throughout the day. The quality of the livestock is deserving of all of those things that these people have worked hard to award you guys with. So you should be proud of that. And if you would, for all these heifers that we've had come through the ring here today, let's put our hands together one more time for all these exhibitors that have been in and out of here. I know it's been a long day. I know my feet are getting tired, and I'm sure that a lot of these volunteers would say the same thing. But a show like this doesn't go on without all the support, not just financially in terms of donors, but all your support staff back there that put it on from a volunteer standpoint, getting stuff in and out of the ring. Yes, put your hands together for them if you would, because these shows wouldn't happen without all their hard work. I've been looking forward to this for a long time. You know, when they called me, it was not quite a year ago, to come down and be one of your heifer judges, I was excited. I knew the quality would be good. I knew the competition would be good, and it would be a fun experience. And when they told me that I would get to judge counterpart of Miss Terry Barber, I got a little more excited. She's a legend in her own right, especially, I've looked up to her as somebody, not just from a female judge standpoint, but just a judge in general, who's consistent in what she knows, what she wants. She finds the best ones. She articulates it well, and it's just been an honor for me to get to judge, offering from her throughout the day, hearing some of her comments, and then sharing our thoughts as we've come back together on these champions. So if you would, please put your hands together for Miss Terry Barber out here on an outstanding job that she did here today as well. You know, I'm not going to go back through and make a big whole long speech by any means, but I do hope you guys realize that life can change in a hurry. I was telling Terry earlier, I got to spend the day out here sorting through high-quality livestock and having a blast doing it. My brother, on the other hand, spent the day at MD Anderson going through some procedures because life kind of hit him fast here in the last week or so. And so I hope you guys appreciate that at the end of the day, we can all come to the recognition that there is more to life than just a cow show, and there is bigger things that can happen. But at the same time, being out here and getting to experience this, it might be the only time that you guys make it back out here for this type of Supreme Drive, or maybe it's something that you're able to do several years in a row. But appreciate it. Appreciate the moment that you've been given. Appreciate the people that are behind you that have helped you get to this standpoint, whether that's breeders or assistance from other people, your family, whoever it might be sure and thank them. This isn't just something that happens, and I know, from having young kids that show, it's not easy, and every given day can kind of take on its new set of challenges. And so my compliments to all of you guys on your hard work and your dedication to this, and being able to bring to us such elite cattle out here that it's made it fun for Terry and I to sort through them here today. We think that it's an incredible lineup. We talked a little bit, and she did earlier, the last two Supremes that we picked. We bring this lineup out here too, and boy, they don't take anything away. You guys have exceptional females. We talked about them throughout their breeds and within their respected classes today in terms of combining so much good from where we are, not only within their breeds, but from an industry standpoint. These are good, functional made females that have those elite extra pieces to them. We think that there's a couple of them that are just next level good. We're going to go and show you those in terms of our opinion here today. But one more time, put your hands together and cheer loud for these kids and the hard work that they've put together. It's been an exceptional show. Thank you, San Antonio, for letting us come do this.
Well, a great sentiment there from Miss Bloomberg, and they'll go ahead and select your champion. Well, your Supreme comes out of your Lemmy division. That would be Kinley Thomas. Congratulations, that family. Live right around them, and those girls in that family just work so hard each and every day and do things the right way. So a huge congratulations goes out to them on an incredible female.
Yeah, but now they're moving the reserve heifer in for a reserve Supreme contention, and I think as close as that one was, that they'll probably give it another look here as they move her in. But like Mason had said, the champion Supreme of this respective drive is just an extremely high quality individual. Just what's going on in the ring. I guess they've asked the other reserve breed females to exit out now that it's down to what's left in the champion lineup with the reserve female out of that respective. But Miss Barber's going to pick the reserve Supreme right now.
Your reserve comes out of your main division. So congratulations to her as well.
Yeah, and as they congratulations is what I want to say to both of them. But remarkable how Miss Barber, and Miss Bloomberg congratulated all the exhibitors here at the end of the deal. So, just me and Mason like to say thanks to everybody here. An awesome show that's been put on, and what a great job by San Antonio and Stock Show and Rodeo for supporting the youth. Thanks, to everyone involved with that.
Well, good night, folks, and thank y'all.